welcome back, knife nerds and everyday care people. It's your boy, the Big Canucker, and coming at you with a little bit of a review of something that I've had for a little bit since I've had my birthday. I've asked for this for my birthday. My daughter ended up getting it for me, and I have to say thank you to my little Tootie. That's her nickname. Her name is Taylor, and my boy could not say Taylor. All he could say was Tootie, so that became her name, and I called her that ever since. And this weekend, she's getting married to a wonderful fellow by the name of Mike, and I'm going to have real fun saying my father of the bride speech, and I'm going to tell some embarrassing stories about her. Look out! Now, she ended up picking me up something because Josh at WorkSharp, never mind about him, we'll just talk about here. It is the WorkSharp Precision Adjust Sharpening System, and we're going to go to the tabletop and have a look at this and have a little bit of fun with it. We'll talk about the hits, we'll talk about the misses, and we'll talk about everything in between. And before we head down to the tabletop, if you think that I've earned your subscription when you get to the end of this video, don't forget to push that subscribe button. Don't forget to give me that thumbs up. If I've earned it, I appreciate it so much, guys. All right, let's head to the tabletop. All right, here we go. Now, this Precision Adjust Sharpening System is a wonderful little system, and I got to say that I'm mightily impressed. I have sharpened about a half a dozen knives on here, including this Kaiser T1. I just did that this morning here, and I wanted to this is a knife here that I ended up getting from a fella out in Ontario by the name of Jonathan, who goes by the name of greasemonkey_EDC on Instagram. Wonderful, wonderful fella. And he also is the one who sold me the ZT 0560, who got me into ZT knives. You bastard, my wife is not going to be very pleased because I want more of those ZT knives. Anyways, this is a beautifully smooth knife. I just couldn't get it really super sharp off my stone. Just this big belly here, for some reason, was giving me a little bit of a hard time, and I thought, well, I want to sharpen this out in here. And it has done a wonderfully, wonderful sharp edge. Just not like a super, super mirror polished edge like my KME system. And I think that's to do with this system. It has to do with the fact that there's only kind of 3 stones with this. You can get this to a mirror polish, I do believe, if you want to, strop for a whole bunch. But let's go over the system here a little bit. We'll talk about some of the things I like, about some of the things I don't, and yeah. All right, so this system breaks down into 4 pieces, which is extremely handy. Yeah, there we go. So it comes, packaged just like this, and it is really nice and easy to put together. You just pop that in the back, click that down, you put your cradle in, and then you've got your system here, which is like a sliding rod with your tri-abrasive little cartridge here. And then you lock your system in here with these little jaws, this little clamp. And they've got a wonderful, wonderful little system where it's almost got like a reverse clamp system here. And then you've got a little thumb clamp here to tighten up your jaws. Now, this is really, really handy. It's really, really innovative, but I got to tell you, it also limits you on to what size of stock you can use. This little inside piece here, it does limit you. So, I mean, if you've got some real big, thick, beefy, especially fixed blade knives, might not make it in there because of that. Now, that just locks in like this. And as you turn that, it does put it in there. It is held in there quite sharp. Now, you want to watch for this little system here, this little white tab here. We want that facing up, and you want to install your knife over to the right. Because when it comes time to flip this knife, you push the button in the back, and then you flip it over. Flip it back. Now, it will not flip all the way around in a complete circle. It'll only flip halfway this way and this way, this way and this way. So that way you want to start off with here on your right. All right? So now, also inside here, you've got 3 little stones. Now you've got a 320 stone, you've got a 600 stone, and then you've got a ceramic stone. And I got to say, the 320 stone it's been holding up, and it seemed like off the bat it was a little sharper or a little more coarser than a 320 stone. It seemed like more of a 200 stone, and it seemed like the 600 was also finer than 600. They are these two diamond stones, and so far I've sharpened S35 VN off them. S30V. I've sharpened a whole bunch of carbon steel knives, and it's held up really, really well. Now, I haven't sharpened anything like Maximent or any M390 or any of the real 20CV super steels like that. So, and I haven't sharpened more than I think only about half a dozen knives. And so far, I've not noticed, after I got that first knife out of the way and it kind of broke the stone in, I haven't noticed any real loss of sharpening ability in the first 6 stones. So who knows what that means? Does that mean 30 or 40 or 50 or 60 or 70 knives before you got to look at replacing these stones? My instinct tells me I'm looking at right around 50 knives or so before I got to look at kind of replacing any of these stones. And my guess is it's going to probably be the 320 is the first one that'll need to go, especially if you do lots of reprofiling. If you're just going to be touching up edges, my goodness, you're going to be talking a couple hundred knives, no problem. But if you're going to be talking about wanting to reprofile some edges, thicken them up a little bit, you're going to be doing lots of grinding on this 320, and that's the one that's going to go. Now, good news is you can actually replace these stones for about $7.95 through WorkSharp, so you can replace them no problem. The one thing, though, I wish that they would do is I wish they would allow us to get these little cartridges, because these little cartridges seem like they're real handy. Now, I know that there is a fella online, you'll have to search him out, who does 3D print these for I think around $18 or so. And that would be nice that you could build yourself some of your own little stones, or you could actually use these as more of a kind of a lapping system. So once you've used, you've used your heavy diamond grit and your ceramic, you could get perhaps a couple where you're lapping at, say 30 micron, 15, 10, 5 down to 1 or even 0.25 micron, and putting some real wicked mirror polish edges on here. That's the one thing I think that I'm going to end up probably doing, is getting myself a couple of extra cartridges and just using this to really, really strop, especially with these. I like stropping with these high micron lapping films. They put a really, really toothy mirror polish edge on my knives, and I really, really like that, because I've had knives that I've got completely sharp and they cut cardboard like crazy, but I love that little sticky feeling when you take a knife and you're going to run your finger, it's going to cut. Where there are some knives you can tell they're sharp, but you don't really feel that biting sharp, and I really, really like that biting sharp. Now, if you want to place this back in, you just basically put your cartridge back in here in your little system, and then slide it through, and then you've got a little rubber stop here that not only stops your cartridge from coming off, it also, you can adjust this too as well to adjust the length of your stroke, so you don't overstroke or understroke your knife. Now, let's have a look here. So now the system itself here has got a really, really smooth progression that you can just basically turn this little dial, and it just creates a screw, and it'll adjust this from 30 degrees down to 15 degrees. So you do have quite a range in degrees, and you can adjust that in 1 degree increments or even partial degree increments. But the one thing I would say is don't necessarily look at these as the gospel. If you're at 25 degrees in this system here, that's 20 degrees. You're necessarily not at 20 degrees bevel on your knife, because a lot of that depends upon the thickness of your knife this way, because as you adjust the length here, you're going to adjust the angle of your sharpening rod too as well. So even though this is at 20 degrees, if I were to put a fatter knife in here, well, that's all of a sudden now that becomes not 20 degrees because it's a fatter knife. You see what I mean there, folks? All right. So some of the things that I really, really like about this are the fact that it's inexpensive. Here in Canada, that's, $79 or so. You can get it at Cabela's, House of Knives. In the States, it's, $59. Extremely, extremely affordable system. It does give you a really, really good edge as far as I'm concerned. And I'm going to say that, you have a thing called a best sharpness tester, and it is basically a little thread that you cut, and it is a weight of it, and it basically measures the amount of force it takes to cut through a consistent thread. Now, something that is extremely sharp, like let's just say your average utility razor blade, that's around a little over 100 best, say 125 best or so. Well, this here is routinely getting knives down to 80 to 120 best, no problems. So that is still extremely sharp. That's like straight razor sharp. The most sharpest that I have personally seen on a video that anybody get down to was 27 best, and I think that was on a Wicked Edge system. And he had everything on there. He had all the bells and the whistles, and about 10 different stropping materials. You're not far off. Now, most people, I'm going to say probably 90%, 95% of people out there are not going to be able to tell the difference between a 100 best edge and say a 50 best edge. Just by touching it, it's going to be extremely sharp to everybody. All right, so you're going to get extremely workable, fantastic edge on this for not a lot of money. Now, it's nothing that you can't get off say like your a Spyderco ceramic stone. You got the 3 stones. You can get a hair whittling edge with that too as well. But it just takes a lot more skill, a lot more practice, and a lot more patience. If you got this system, it's a lot more forgiving, and it's a lot easier for somebody who's a newbie too as well. So. The old sharpening system, because the sharpest knives you're going to get are the knives that you're able to repeat your angle over and over and over again, where this allows you to do that to, not to an infinite degree, but to a fairly decent degree. Now, which brings in some of the misses on here. One of them here is the fact that this does have a little bit of play to it. Because it is a plastic system. It's not made of metal. It's $59. So you're not going to get extreme craftsmanship with it. You're going to get great. You're going to get decent, but you're not going to get perfection. And that's one of the things here. Now and then the other one is this here. This has got a little bit too as well. A little bit of wiggle to it. So if you want to kind of adjust that, I would say. I'm going to put this on the ceramic because I don't want to pooch my edge. You can hold this with your thumb a little bit, and that's going to lock that into position a little bit better. Or you can just leave it and you can just not press as hard. Over time you'll definitely get there, and it just may not be as sharp as it possibly could with this system, just because that little bit of wiggle will just throw things out a little bit. The other thing I'm going to say about here that is a little bit of a miss is the fact that this single clamp system doesn't allow you to use some of the thicker knives or even some of the longer knives too as well. I would say that you're really, a 6-inch blade is about, I think, as long as you want to go. I mean, like you can, if you have a longer blade, you can sharpen it, part of it, move it, adjust it through the clamp side to side. And then you can sharpen, say, like 12-inch, kitchen knife with it. But you're not going to be able to sharpen the kitchen knife in just one go. You're going to have to, sharpen, adjust, and then flip it over, sharpen, adjust. So it's a little bit more fidgety to do some of the bigger knives too as well. Now, the other miss that I would say is the fact that you don't have a plethora of stones here. You've only got the 3 grits. You've got the 320, the 600, and the ceramic. I would have been nice to see perhaps a 4-stone system on here with something that is between the ceramic and the 600, or it would be nice to see something in there, or even a spot where you could use a strop. It would be nice to have a leather strop on here. Now, when you do your edges here, you're going to get yourself a really, really beautiful edge. You're just not going to get an extremely mirror polished edge because it's not precise enough that some of the deeper scratches you're able to get out without going an extremely long time on your ceramic, where it becomes really, really time prohibitive. I just don't think you're going to see it be able to get that kind of mirror polished edge. And the other thing is, these have got a little bit of an edge to them here. You can see here, I'm not sure if you can see, but here's a little bit of a shiny spot right there. There's the odd time when I wasn't completely flat on the edge blade, and I did put little tiny, not nicks, but almost like little shiny spots in the edge here. You can see some of them here. They look like flat spots, and there just seems like they're little tiny gouges in the edge of the blade. That's one of the knocks that I have on here. Just it would be nice if they just leaned down a little bit. There wasn't that kind of sharp edge, and that's just kind of, I did it a couple of times where I wasn't completely set, and I didn't have the knife completely flat. It was turned a little bit like that, and I kind of just put these little tiny marks in the blade. That's user error. That's just something that you just need to watch out for. And the other kind of knock that I have on this system is when it comes time to kind of put it away, you got to break it all the way down, throw it in a box. It'd be nice if you could leave this on a desk, but this is, I don't know. I think what I'm going to end up trying to do here is I'm going to end up maybe drilling a little hole in the side here where I can drop that in, and perhaps getting a little magnet that I could just set it to the side, and just ding, I can put my magnet on there, and there you go, Bob's your uncle. And the other thing is this handle here, it just didn't seem to be super comfortable. I ended up having to grab it here at the end, is where I grabbed it. And I did most of my sharpening. It just didn't seem like this handle here was really, really comfortable to grab. But I mean, whether it's the size of my hands or the size of the handle here, I just felt that it was nicer to grab at the end here, and it just made it that much more easier for me to use. But would I recommend this system? Absolutely, all day long in a heartbeat. I think this is a fantastic system. Now, if you've got yourself a Lansky system or one of the lower systems, definitely worth the upgrade. It's definitely worth spending the money. Or if you're a guy who has stones and you've not had a crazy amount of luck with sharpening, your knives and your stones, and you're a hunter, you want to go with a sharp couple of knives in case you knock down a moose or an elk or something, this system is for you. Spend the money, you will not regret it. Your hunting knives will be tip-top, super sharp, and you'll have repeatable sharpness for an awfully long time going forward. But if you're a KME guy or an Edge Pro guy, I don't think you're gaining anything by getting this system. I think it is, it is not as good as a system as, those two, especially the TS Prof system, with the extra different clamps and stuff like that. That's the system I think that I eventually would like to get. That's, to me, I think that is the most, the best system out there, in my opinion, even though I've never sharpened it, I think, but I've just seen some videos. But this system here, especially for the money, is incredible value. If all you want is a really, really sharp knife that's going to cut for a long time, and you want to keep on having that knife sharpened over and over and over with repeatable results, you cannot go wrong with this system at all. So this is, I think, a definite recommendation. It's definitely a big Canucker hat trick, or what you want to call it. I would recommend this all day long and every day on Sunday. All right, so thanks for stopping by. I do appreciate you guys stopping by. Oh, here, before we go, I know everybody's been, not everybody, but yeah, because I did sharpen the hell out of this knife, I want to find myself a little piece of paper and show you how damn sharp it is. Yeah, that's the one thing I want to do. And look, just like butter. Just like butter. She cut through like nothing. And you can hear that it's not as I'm going to say quiet cut as something like my KME with my crazy stropping on there, where I've got 17 strops afterwards. But holy cow, this is a wicked sharpened edge. And like I said, definitely would recommend this. So, if you like what you saw, please don't forget to subscribe and give me a thumbs up. And please stay safe out there, everybody. We're not out of the woods yet. We've got a little bit of ways to go. But please keep your stick on the ice, the shiny side up. This is the Big Canucker saying adios.